So, what's up, guys? It's Season 4 New World, and we're making a build guide on tanking the new Glacial Tarn Expedition. So, just wanted to show you guys my gear setup for that, as well as do like a quick speed run through what the pulls are and kind of how to do the higher difficulty levels, right? So, probably demoing an M2, but this build should last you all the way up to M3s. Let's dive right into the gear. So, Um, first thing I'm gonna walk you guys through is the gear, right? So you're obviously in heavy for this. Here's a quick look at some of my stuff. So mainly focusing on like health, refreshing, defensive stuff. Slash conditioning is really important here. The final boss does pure slash damage, so it's really nice to have that on some pieces. Elemental aversion is also really good for mutators. You'll notice that I've got frost gems in all my gear, or most of it. And that's so that I can get about 50% frost resistance. Here's a really good shield that I actually got from this expedition, right? It's got sturdy, which is really amazing. Sturdy energy is good too. But the main important perk that you care about here is frozen shield ward, right? So at least this week's mutator is frost damage. So, the damage on the expedition itself is frost, plus the combined mutator of frost. Lots of frozen damage. So here's my sword. The main perk that you actually care about getting on this is just going to be refreshing move. Contagious reverse stab, care less. Honestly, I'm just looking for a 700 sword with refreshing move at this point with some decent perks. As far as Warhammer goes, Thundering Shockwave, that's a critical weapon perk that you're looking for here, so you can just keep everyone rended. Heart of Cold, this is an amulet that actually drops from this new expedition. It's got Frozen Protection and Divine. You can re-roll your third perk. I got Refreshing, rolled at 699, kind of depressing, but you're probably going to want health here to roll. Ring, I don't really know what I'm going to be using here at the end, right? I'm using this Privateer's Heirloom at the moment. Hardy is kind of the main one that you actually care about having as a tank. Slash damage, definitely good for some more deeps on your sword, but doesn't apply to both weapons, so not the best thing in the world. You could use what's the heirloom or the artifact? Sorry, that gives you lifesteal. Thought about playing around with that, but yeah, we'll see. And then Sporelight Earring. This is actually a really good earring for tanks. It's got Despise, Nimble, and Refreshing, so killer for that. I've also used this before too. Daly's Comet. Got the Healing Heart rune, and another good one is Life Loop because it's got that healthy toast. All right, that is a run through of the gear. Next, we're going to be going through our attributes. So I've tried 300, 300, and you can get away with this at like M1, M2, totally fine. But for M3s and above, I'm going to recommend you go 350 con. It's just a lot of damage, and that extra 10% reduction while you have grit is amazing. I really do like the grit ward / this reduction while you've got grit. So 250, 350, figure it out with magnifies and all that kind of stuff. Let's go into weapon perks. Weapon perks. So if you're doing M1 or M2, I'm actually going to recommend a Whirling Blade just for more damage. If you're doing M3s, this reverse stab is really good, just for the simple fact that it has this Tactician, which, reduces your cooldowns of your other skills. A perk that you're going to want to look for on your shield as well is Fortify and Shield Rush, right? You're going Shield Rush, and that Fortify is amazing. Critical to have Empowered Stab, giving you that Empower. Achilles Heel, also pretty good. I do like this mobility stuff for moving while blocking, especially for that final boss. A couple other perks. If you're going for more damage and like lower difficulty mutations, totally go for leadership here. Like just pick up a couple more perks on the side or passives, and then go leadership. If you're running M3s though, I'm going for that defensive formation, right? I'm trying to stay alive. Perks on the right, reduced damage for physical and elemental, and then reduced stam damage when you're blocking. Defensive training also pretty good. Fortify and block. Defender's resolve, classic taunt that you need. Recuperation, all healing and regen is increased by 10%. That's it. All right, let's dig into Warhammer. Sundering Shockwave, gonna be your taunt on this weapon. Outnumbered, Concussive Impact, Prevailing Spirit, and Resurgence. Armor Breaker, gonna give you another rend. Also really good for just breaking Sam. But yeah, this rend, 30% rend for 10 seconds, very nice. Don't really need this opening act, but definitely nice for opening up. Quick Recovery, good CDR and heavy attacks. Adds grit to Warhammer heavy attacks. This is a must get, Hardened Steel. Hammer Time and Power on heavy attack, also really good. I like Wrecking Ball for keeping the Ancients just kind of on the ground, right? Just perma CC, right? Whether it's between Shockwave and that, and then other people doing CC. Really good to just keep people on the ground and prevent them from doing stuff. And Power Through the Pain, another perk I like getting on tanking, or on tanks, just to keep up my damage while I'm tanking. So for the final boss, he does a ton of slash damage, right? So I actually swap out my shield and my amulet from the frozen protection to Ankh, right, with slash protection, and then pick a random slash shield ward shield, right? I've been experimenting with it around a couple different ones. This one I think has been my favorite. So, you know, sturdy energy, sturdy, slash shield ward, pretty much the exact same thing, right? That's what you're looking for. In mutators, the bosses actually don't deal half of their damage as frost, right? So that first boss is going to be strike damage. If you really want to, you know, be effective, right? Throw on a strike shield ward for that first boss, and then a slash shield ward for that final boss. But Ankh is also incredibly powerful for that additional heals, right? I do like that. And you just got to make that sacrifice, right? Because you get so much frost protection, right, on your amulet. It's hard to make that sacrifice, but I just switched to it for that last boss, and it feels great. And you can tank him pretty easily. Okay, I'm going to run through what buffs that you want when you're starting the expedition, right? So first thing you're going to want is some sort of plus 48 attribute food. I'm using Constitution here. A Honing Stone, right? I'm just using tier 4, that's M2. And then I actually put, so this is an accurate tooltip too, it's not 500% damage, but you're going to use a human coating, right, which gives you some extra damage against humans. I use that on my sword, and then I use an ancient one, wherever that is. You want to use this ancient infused coating, right, on your hammer. I also like to use this ancient ward potion in the beginning of the dungeon, and then about halfway through, switch to the human ward for like the end game boss and stuff like that too, because like the first half, you know, leans towards more ancient stuff with all the trash. And then the later half is human boss. All right, we're just gonna do a quick speed run through this expedition. I just want to like kind of demonstrate some of the pulls that I do, as well as some of the strats that my company does for the bosses. And I'm mostly doing these pulls as if it was an M3, but this is an M2. I just wanted to have it go super smooth. Definitely a lot harder than M3 though. The difficulty goes way up on this one. The mechanic in this dungeon is actually you'll need to get that fire in order to break the ice walls, as well as damage some of the humans, or like I think they are humans, that have ice around them. So you'll see over here, right, we do that pull onto the archer. These guys are the ones that you need the fire buff, right, in order to kill. So grab your fire buff, head over here, kill this named guy. Thing to watch out for here, especially in M3, is a staff slam. So hammers and other CC weapons are going to be really good to keep him on the ground and unable to do his staff slam. This pull can be tricky, right? You want to pull all the way down to the end of the hallway. Make sure you're getting aggro of everything. You just need that fire, right, to kill these guys. So you want to pull all the way to that fire, grab that, clump everyone up, wipe them down. This is your first exposure to the mechanic where you've got to be within the kind of close circle to the elite mob, right? So everyone's got to stay close in order to not take a dot. Also, you got to interact with that ball over there, right? So we like to try and pull the mob close to the ball and then do that. You can skip that pack and just head all the way into this boss. So this would be a great time to switch to any boss specific gear, right? Strike protection, but actually, I've got like 60% frost resistance here, and the only thing that really gives me grief on this fight is going to be the icicles falling, right? So while I'm in the ice storm, icicles are falling on your head. It's all just ice damage that gives me grief here. I don't really care about the strike damage, but this guy does do strike. You can see here though, you know, you're taking a lot of ice damage with those icicles falling on your head. A mechanic to note to watch out for as far as the DPS go is he'll charge. Like he'll pick a random person at range or a DPS and just charge at them. That will one-shot you in M3. You have to be able to dodge that. You can see that there. Icicles are the main thing you're dodging. My advice when you've got a bow too is like don't stay ADS or don't stay aiming while you're trying to dodge icicles. Just run around, dodge those during that phase. You can very easily get killed by those icicles. Definitely in an M2 he does a whole lot less rotations of his abilities, so that was pretty smooth. You skip those mobs and then just like jump over all these ice blocks, pull them all to here, right? You're gonna pull onto this mage, clump everyone up. I definitely like not pulling the named elite mob here. He's a hammer guy, so just be rippy. Take on him afterwards. He's got the circle too, where you gotta stay close. And slicers, that's a fun combination. In an M3, I might pull those separately than this whole pull here, but did pretty well. I mean, probably can swing this in M3 if you've got a good group. You just want to pull onto those archers there. This next pull is really, really tricky, right? So you want to basically pull to this staircase, clean up that initial pack, right? The bowman, all that kind of stuff. And then you're going to want to pull and get to the fire, right? Because these next guys are ice, so you need that fire buff. Definitely goes a little rough for us. Yeah, this is one where I try to pull the crusher as far away from my deeps as possible. That crusher is going to absolutely annihilate them. Let your DPS kind of clean up all the trash mobs while you tank the crusher, and then move on to him. But he's the one who's going to deal with most DPS here in that pull. There's actually a second crusher in this next pull. Do your best to just tank him while your deeps gets the mage. There's an ice block too that you need fire to kill. You can see one of my teammates. He's taking care of that, interacting with that ball, getting it done before we're done with the fight. Definitely helps move things along in mutators. There's a new strat, I think, for these guys too, which you can just run them all the way to the button, which I do about here. Yep, so you can just run into this area, run up the stairs, right? Stand on the button. Your teammates are going through that other door. But you can just mostly skip those guys, right? We just jump down, on to the next. Another named elite mob with the close circle. And the only difference in mechanics on the M3, at least for the ice mutation, is the silence, right? Which is super annoying, but when you're a tank, pull the stuff you're fighting out of the silence so your deeps can do effective things. This fight, pretty easy in M2, very tricky in M3. You saw that lightning attack right there that you just did? That will like basically one-shot you in M3. So when that lightning thing happens, even though you got to be close to the frost circle, back up for a second, right? Dodge the lightning attack, come back in. That lightning attack there is deadly. Alright, we're on to the final boss, and you know what's hilarious? At the beginning of this video I said, hey, switch all your damage to slash damage, and then what did I do? Forgot to switch it, right? So here is where you're putting on your slash damage amulet, and you're putting on your slash damage protection tower shield. Especially important in M3. I tried to do it there because I forgot, but it was too late. I'd already started the fight, I jumped down, I regretted it, but... as far as tanking this guy, right? Doing a lot of blocking. There's a lot of just basic auto attacks and stuff. Your DPS is going to be the one calling out what that big guy is doing, right? Because you're mainly focused on tanking. You can see I almost died of that breath there, right? That breath there will knock you off the edge. Incredibly important to dodge that. So you're kind of like relying on your DPS to call that, but also you should be trying to watch the boss as much as you can and look out for the breath attack as well as like hand slam. That can be pretty rippy. But as a tank, yeah, you really just have to watch out for that breath attack and make sure you're rotating off the platforms that he's breathing on so you don't get knocked off. Make sure you're not on the bridges when he's breaking those bridges. This is weak point phase, right? So you're just going to tank the boss. He's going to build up stacks of empower while your DPS try to take out those weak points on the boss, those green things. He's got fortified during this phase too, so don't even worry about DPSing him, right? That's why it's really important that like all your DPS have a range, right? So they can help in that that phase right there, right? Where you need to destroy those weak points. Also, as of now, killing the mages causes the boss to bug out and like not be able to be finished. He freezes at the very end. So my advice: don't even touch the mages. Every time I kill the mages, bug happens, right? So pretty consistent on that one. Alright, and that's it. That's the boss. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will do a follow-up video, probably. Want an M3 run, too, if you're curious on seeing that. But there it is. Thanks for watching, guys.